Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So last week we talked about The Simpsons based on your recommendation, and while I do think that Simpsons roasting on an open fire is a fine little Christmas special, I have a very special place in my heart for a Matt Groening Christmas special that not many people remember, which is Olive the Other Reindeer. And we brought in a special guest who apparently also grew up loving this special.
We did. So basically, I heard that you wanted to cover Olive the Other Reindeer, and my girlfriend Teddi, freaked out. She's like, I love Olive. I grew up on Olive. And it's so funny because I have never seen Olive the Other Reindeer. I had seen the book, out in the wild, but that was about it. So this is definitely more of you two than it is me. I didn't even realize it was from the same guy that did The Simpsons until last night, and I texted you.
So what? Let me ask this question, and we'll get this out of the way. Did you like it, or did you absolutely hate it?
So I believe at the end of watching it, I said it's very weird. It's not as black and white as that, Matt. It's
All right.
I didn't hate it. I liked it. If I was not with Teddi, it would not become a Christmas tradition.
All right.
But I appreciate it for what it is. And I know it would be one of those specials that I absolutely adored if I saw it as a kid.
So, Teddi, I'm curious your memories of it, but I remember them Fox was like, tonight, The Simpsons creator Matt Groening presents starring Drew Barrymore. And I'm like, oh my God, Drew Barrymore's my number one celebrity crush, and I love The Simpsons. This is going to be great. And I taped it. I was like, Mom, get a blank VHS tape. And I taped it as it aired. And then it never aired again. And I would watch the tape all the time, and no one knew what I was talking about. And then one day I walked into a Best Buy, and it was on DVD somewhere. And I was like, well, I'm spending $10 on that bad boy to bring home. And I've watched it every Christmas since.
Did you have it on DVD?
I really think I might have had it on DVD because I don't know how I've been able to watch it every year. My family's not very YouTube savvy, but we do. I make sure I get to watch it every year. And that was definitely my thought process too, was excited for it to come on, especially being The Simpsons. I've always had that dark sense of humor that appreciates The Simpsons and stuff like Rick and Morty. And so to have this cartoon that's rated G, but still say some inappropriate stuff.
Yeah,
we were
watching it last night, and I saw the penguin Martini, talks about smuggling in dirty magazines and stuff like that. And I looked at her and I'm like, I thought this was a cutesy, I thought it was a kid's thing. She's like, no, I think it gets a little raunchy. And that, cause she hasn't seen it in a long time. She's like, it's rated G. I'm like, oh, okay, you could talk about dirty nude mags back then when it's
99
rated G,
was a different time.
99 was a different time.
But talk about a great cast. You mentioned Martini, voiced by Joey Pants.
Joey Pants, dude.
My favorite character personally, I like that it is just pun heavy, right? As it should be, because it's a dog named Olive who thinks that the song is Olive the Other Reindeer and that it's her calling to be a reindeer. But then there's the great line where they're on the bus and everyone's like, your name's not, it's All of the Other Reindeer. It's not Olive the Other Reindeer. And the bus driver's like, Don't worry, Olive. Happens to everybody. I used to think the Pledge of Allegiance was about me, Richard Stans.
I think the no-nosed bus driver is my favorite character.
Oh, dude, he's so
He does
good.
not have a nose. So that's another thing I want to talk about is the animation itself.
Is crazy.
Every character based off of a Picasso painting.
I have no clue. And I was thinking about, what's funny is as I'm watching, I'm like, Dylan will definitely have notes about the way that these people are animated.
I like some of them had noses, some of them didn't. It reminded me, and it's funny enough, we rewatched Monkey Bone the other night.
It has a Monkey Bone vibe for sure.
Yeah, it reminded me of some of the animation in Monkey Bone. And it just really threw me off. I love how flat the characters are. Like they are very picture book-esque. I think most of my problems come from the story.
Yeah, I mean the story. So you know what's funny though is I was watching this and I was like, I feel like I could handle like a feature length Olive the Other Reindeer story. Like I think that part of the problem is that every set piece is so rushed that it's just like, and they got to the bar and now they're leaving the bar, and like they get to this thing where it's like, hey, if you like let these things like kind of grow a little bit more, like it could be more fun. But I think that the humor in this is like top notch. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is a swift 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, we watched it on YouTube and it goes. It does not stop. There is no stopping point in this. I do want to comment on the postman. So like this was bothering me throughout the entire episode. So for those of you who are unaware of Olive the Other Reindeer, I keep wanting to call her Oliver. Olive the Other Reindeer. There is a character, the postman, who's the antagonist. Does he have a name? I can't remember.
I think just Bad Postman.
He wants Christmas canceled because he's tired of delivering packages, which if Santa can't deliver packages, doesn't that just make the postman's job harder? Because I think he overestimates the importance of Santa in Christmas. Because if you just don't get things, I feel like next year people will just be like, well, that just means we have to send more stuff.
Well, Dylan, don't forget, the complaining about the mail is just one part of his complaint, because we later learn that he got on the naughty list and never got the train set that he always felt like he deserved.
When did that happen?
After he kidnaps Martini and he's going through the sack of toys and he's like throwing the toys. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Ha, here it is. The toy set, I've wanted since I was 9. That was when Santa put me on the naughty list for the first time, and I never forgave him.
Dude, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe they cut it from the YouTube stream, but the DVD definitely has it.
I got nothing, man.
That's shortly before Martini straight up tusks him into being a penguin at the end of the movie.
I remember that. Where he gets kind of sad. He gets choked up when the other penguins bring him a gift full of fish.
Oh, that's how you took that? Because I took it as like, oh God, my life is terrible. I have to eat these stinky dead fish for all eternity.
Part.
I thought that
You
was...
took it as very much like the ending of Tusk,
Yeah.
which has been sewn into the walrus, and they throw him a fish, and he's like, the single tear rolls down his eye.
So I have to ask, did either of you cry? Because I watched this morning, so I don't know if this was legit tears or like I'm only half awake tears, but I cried twice while watching this.
This did not make me cry. Did this make you cry?
No, it just makes me really like sad.
I think her speech in the bar is. I think that one would have produced tears regardless. Where she's just like, do you even think you deserve a Christmas the way you have been acting? Like, don't you forget that Santa's only one part of you getting gifts. You have to be good to earn it. And I'm like, oh. Like,
Fun name, Round John Virgin.
yeah, Round John Virgin, who just wants a nice cordless drill. I don't deserve a nice gift like that.
I do. So there's like a lot of visual gags that I love. I do love the ending. The one reindeer, I can't remember his name. He's like the cousin of Blitzen. He gets a football.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Round John Virgin gets the drill and just fucking drills.
Oh, I mean, if we're talking about people getting gifts, we have to talk about the insanity of when they're showing them delivering gifts all around the world. And like the Hunchback of Notre Dame gets a back scratcher. The Pope gets a Phillies hat. Like,
Yeah.
and then Ultraman and Godzilla just sing a song together. Like,
Big Ben has Rolex with the extra
yeah, with
X.
X's. I didn't know Rolex was spelled with 3 X's. The other line, there's 2 other lines I wrote down that I need to address, and one comes from Richard Stans. Olive's giving her big speech on the bus, and she's saying how, like, sometimes you just have to believe that everything's going to work out fine. And Richard Stans like, yeah, like that time I was rolling downhill and the brakes wouldn't work. And she's like, well, she goes, well, what did you do? And he goes, I don't remember, but it seemed like it worked out all right. Like, the joke that like sealed the deal for me the first time I watched this was Olive in the back of the truck finding a gift for her from Deus Machina.
Deus Machina. So that one got me. I'm like, oh my God. So I grew up a theater kid.
Yeah.
So there's many people out here who aren't aware of what a Deus Ex Machina was. Teddi didn't know. I was dying. And I'm like, she's like, what is that? I was like, look at what it is. It was like I couldn't tell. Was it like a letter shredder or
it was a nail file. It was like to break out of but yeah, like, but yeah, it means just act of God, right? Like it's a device basically. Yeah. It's the device to get the plot moving. So it is very funny that it's just like from Deus Ex Machina to. And then she says it to Martini. He's like, Denise who? And she goes, look it up. Like that stuff to me is so fucking funny. And like I do think that it's such a sugary sweet special simultaneously. The fact that like Michael Stipe of REM just like shows up as Blitzen's cousin to sing a song, like
it is the cast is pretty insane.
The mailman's voiced by Homer Simpson.
Yep.
Billy West is in there. Jay Moore. I can't remember his name now. Rex Kwon Do from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my God. Yep.
But yeah, he's in here. It's a pretty tight cast. So I don't remember this part, but apparently, according to the closing credits, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy does one of the songs in it as well. So
was it over the credits? You said?
Yeah, like during the closing credits. I was laying in bed with my DVD playing, and I was like, I'm very comfortable. I was in a nice blanket burrito this morning, and was like, I am not getting out of here until record time.
I love it. So like. This special always blended together with, I can't even remember the name of it. There was a claymation Christmas special about a reindeer. I think they did like 2 of them.
Oh God, it was a BBC one, right? Like it was a British one. The female deer had like little tiny deer boobies.
Yeah.
I just saw this last year for the first time. My friend Lauren and her sister showed it to me. I wish I could remember what it was called. I'm so upset. But
that one would blend together with Olive to me.
Ironically, they showed me that, and I was like, y'all should see Olive the Other Reindeer. Like, it is very tonally the same. Like,
yeah. So I remember loving that one because I liked the animation. I don't know what it was when I was a kid, but I think I was like, ugh, 2D animation. This is old. Like, that's how I was as a kid. I wish I wasn't because I missed out on so many great things that I'm like now like able to see and revisit now. But yeah, I think I didn't enjoy the animation of Olive when I was a kid, and that just led me to not watching it. So
and it was Robbie the Reindeer. Robbie the
Reindeer. That's it. Robbie the Reindeer. But no, I don't hate it. This isn't going on the Emmett Otter list.
Okay.
But it's just a thing to me.
Yeah.
Like it exists.
Well, I like a lot of the songs in this, but I never remember them after I'm done watching. Like as they're happening, I'm like, oh, that's a fun little tune. And then like the credits roll and I'm like, what were the songs in this again?
I want to go back to the beginning of the movie because of course like Dylan is seeing this for the very first time. Fido the flea is telling her what her owner is saying through the window, and he's saying all these good and positive things, and Fido's like, he says he hates you and he doesn't have Christmas for you. And like, this flea is awful.
Yeah. This flea's an asshole. I always hate that plot line that shows in movies too, where like
people misunderstand
something that the character doesn't know, and I'm like, oh, it gives me anxiety.
How sweet of a dog is Olive, though? Like,
amazing. Drew Barrymore did an absolutely amazing job to the point where I forget that it's Drew Barrymore.
Yep, not a singer. we can say that much. Has a lot of songs for someone who is not a singer. But
you're very, very much right. I feel like Drew Barrymore was definitely brought in because she's Drew Barrymore.
Well, she executive produced it too. I think that my guess, does Drew Barrymore have kids?
Yes, and fun fact, her first daughter's name is Olive.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm sure that there was something where she was like reading this story to her kid, was like, we should turn this into a Christmas special. It should be animated. I'm sure she's been on The Simpsons, was like, I'm gonna call Matt and see what he can do for us. And then like Matt was like, I love it, let's do it. You know, and like they got like Goop. So I think from the start, the project was a Drew Barrymore project first and
Have
foremost.
you read the story, the book?
I've never read the book, so I don't know how tight it is to the plot line. So here's the goofiest thing that I realized while watching this. Did you catch the mailbox at the last house that Santa visited?
No.
So Santa's at the house. He's like, whoop, that's the last house. And the house belongs to the ZZYZU family, which implies that Santa delivers gifts alphabetically.
Alphabetically? Oh, dude.
Which is like such a stupid premise that I love it. That he's just jumping all over the globe, going alphabetically.
I think Olive the Other Reindeer proves that Rudolph is not one of Santa's reindeer.
Yeah, they said it's just an urban legend.
And I'm for it.
Yeah.
That was very much like Halloween 2018.
Yeah, you're like, good. Erase all that other bullshit.
Yeah. Are they I heard it was a sister. No, that was just some rumor some idiot made up. Yeah. Rudolph doesn't exist. And that to me, that's always been my belief, is like Rudolph is not one of the reindeer. Rudolph is a song.
Yeah.
The reindeer are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
Exactly.
That's
if there was a Rudolph, it would have appeared in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
It's true.
That's just a straight fact. There's something that was very heartwarming to me at the very end when they arrive back at the North Pole and Mrs. Claus and all the elves are just standing out there with trays of fresh gingerbread cookies just waiting for them. And I'm like, man, I would love a situation where I'm married to someone and I like pull up to the front door and they're just like, yo, we got gingerbread cookies, bitch. And I'm like, yeah, it's Christmas time now.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, it's just this is definitely one of those specials that will probably work its way in November. I think this is a good one.
It's a solid November option for sure.
To get the season going, to get the feeling going. It's not going to become one of my yearlies. I mean, it will become one of my yearlies, but if I was left to my own devices, it would not become one of my yearlies.
You know, it's a similar special that I've only seen once, but I know it's my friend Lorelai's favorite Christmas special.
What?
Is A Wish for Wings That Work.
I remember this. I had this book.
What the hell is that character's name?
Opus.
Oh, Opus from Bloom Country or County. But yeah, it's him as a penguin, and his only Christmas wish is that he, as a penguin, could fly like all of the other birds that he sees going by in the sky.
I totally had this book.
But it's like, you know, him just trying different ways to teach himself how to fly throughout the special.
There's another one that's in a very similar vein. Was a funny from the New York paper, from the papers. I can't remember what it was, but it was this family and they went to the mall and that's all I can remember. But the animation was very Family Circus-esque.
I'm wondering if it was like Zits or something like that, because that was like one of the family. I used to be all about every day opening to the comics in the newspaper and like getting caught up on like, all right, what's happening with Zits? What's the Far Side one?
Yeah, no. As soon as that's gonna be my like
track down for this year.
Finding what the hell that videotape was. I'll have to text my grandmother because she's the one that bought it for me. And I love this time of year because it brings that stuff out. Like we went to Walmart and Walmart's full gear right now. People like get to Walmart if you want to share some Christmas spirit.
This podcast is sponsored by.
I don't want that. Don't put that evil on.
Like Walmart's a place you begrudgingly support.
Exactly. Woof. But seeing a bunch of things, I was like, I need to call my mom and see if they still have this. Where is this? It makes you. I don't like using the word nostalgic because I feel like nostalgic is thrown around a lot now. People are nostalgic for everything now, but it does. It warms your heart. And again, we're going to be saying that a lot over the next 2 months, but I fucking love Christmas, dude. There's a reason that we're doing this podcast. And Olive the Other Reindeer, while it may not have been my favorite Christmas special, it did sum up that feeling of Christmas. And I love the fact that we get to the end and Olive gets home and gives the owner a kiss. Because the one thing he was like upset about was that I know he was taking out the cancellation of Christmas on her, but he was a little upset that she didn't act like a normal dog. So like when she gets home, she gives him a kiss and they hang out, and I love it.
I feel like a lot of the time you watch something like this and you're so siding with Olive that you're like, yeah, Tim's an asshole. But man, I can speak for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking for you. If I found out Christmas was getting canceled the day before Christmas, I'd be a nightmare to the people that I love.
I mean, that was like, I know last year was crazy for everyone, but I just saw yesterday that Macy's announced that the Thanksgiving parade is happening this year.
Yeah, baby.
So like that announcement last year, I was pissed all day when I found out that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade was canceled. So I can't imagine if you told me the day before Christmas that Christmas was canceled.
Yeah, that Santa was about to do a press release and be like, sorry, folks, better luck next year.
Yeah, it was going to be very Year Without a Santa Claus up in there, and I'm not for it, man.
But you know what? It wasn't even because of Blitzen. Like, Blitzen was a factor, but it was that mean mailman sending all those nasty letters saying, I don't like you, Santa. Don't come to my fucking house. And Santa was like, oh, man, Timmy is really pissed this year.
I love when the reindeer actually take flight.
Yeah.
And Olive's just kind of like fucking dragging ass.
She never actually does fly.
Oh, she's kind of just kicking and her ears are flapping. But I do love that Comet looks at her and it's like, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing great. But you know, in reality, she's like, I'm fucking tired. we just left 2 seconds ago.
Oh my God, oh God, I love it though.
It's a long night, man.
I feel like this special makes me want to have a dog more than any special in television history, and I'm like, I can't bring that into my life right now.
You should get a dog.
I shouldn't get a dog.
You should totally get a dog.
No.
Guys, if you're listening to this, please write in that Matt should get a dog. Message us on Instagram.
Listen, it's not a matter of, from a practical standpoint, listen, listeners, I'm going to let this lay down. I love dogs. I fucking love dogs. But in a non-pandemic situation, I travel constantly and I record nonstop, and there's no door on this studio. So if a dog is barking its head off, it's just going to infect every recording, and then I'm going to start to dislike my own dog, which I don't want to do. So for the dog's sake, I say no dogs for Matt Kelly.
I feel like you're like, I see how you were with your cat. Try to possibly knock him off the table. He flooded your bathroom one time when you were recording.
I just got finished house sitting for my parents, and like their 2 dogs are the sweetest things in the world. But I was so excited to no longer have to pick up shit on the last day when I was like, oh, dude, I can just go to my home where there's not monsters that are just pooping and peeing everywhere.
Dude, maybe you need a cat.
No, I don't need any of it. The only thing I've considered is like one point I was thinking about getting fish. But then I realized that the only reason I wanted fish was that I wanted a fish tank to put some cool shit in.
Before we wrap this up, I do want to give one pick this week. Sia put out a deluxe version of her Christmas album.
Ooh.
And it is fantastic. So if you were a fan of the first release, this one just has a couple more songs. So, you know, listen to the amazingness that is that first record. And then you get a few bonus tracks in there.
Love it.
Christmas stuff is dropping left and right, dude. I am super excited.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's address a little bit of that right now. So, folks, we're going to try to take it easy on ourselves in the January, February, March years by going real hard on ourselves in November, December by trying to record episodes covering all of the different fun stuff that's dropping. So if you're sitting there being like, oh, this new movie came out, this new album came out, you should cover it. There's at least a 50% chance that we are aware and that it will come out sometime in that January to April range, because at first I was like, this will cover a couple weeks. No, there's so much stuff coming
Dude, so much coming out. I mean, the new Home Alone movie that just dropped.
And 8-Bit Christmas.
8-Bit Christmas coming next week. Between the different albums that are dropping. I know Matt is a sucker for those fucking Netflix Christmas Hallmark movies.
Yeah, boy, I've been adding them left and right. We've got
So I'm gonna find myself watching 5 or 6 of those fucking movies. So we've got plenty of content coming your way, covering both our favorite Christmas things of the past and the things currently coming out. Oh my gosh, dude, it is a packed season, and I'm super excited for it.
nice.
Can't
I
wait
love
to
it.
see where we go.
I love it.
Oh, whoa, oh, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holly, have a great, great, great holly, have a merry, 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 happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.